Well, so we're going to be discussing the Game Awards here. And Dusk, you saw the Game Awards. You saw it
Mhm.
live for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I was following some people on Twitch, and a lot of people on Twitch Thursday were streaming it. So I was kind of watching it with them, and caught a little bit of it live as well. Saw some winners here. Any real big surprises to you? We're going to go over the winners list here. Any real big
Uh,
surprises? Were you happy for some games? Anything
I
like
was surprised to see Baldur's Gate sweep as it did. I was very sure the Legend of Zelda was going to Tears of the Kingdom was going to sweep. I'm actually quite happy that it did not. I know a lot of Nintendo fans will be upset at that, but I didn't think it deserved Best of the Year. It's a good game. It's a good game, but it has its problems. It had the previous game had problems, but it won Game of the Year. And now it's the second time along. I think more people are more aware of the problems, and I just didn't think it compared to the competition. I didn't think it deserved Game of the Year. But if I of the list that they put to be Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3, yeah, it's gonna win.
Did you
I
like
was
the
go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, did you like the dude's drip? Did you like that
Oh
drip?
yeah, no, fair enough to him for bothering to go in medieval armor, at least half a plate armor, and just and do that in the middle of it. I thought that was pretty ballsy.
Uh, but I cut you off there. What were you gonna say?
Oh no, I was happy to see in the RPGs that Sea of Stars was on the list of nominees. I was really happy to see that. That's a if you're any a fan of Chrono Trigger or those kind of games, Sea of Stars is a great game that kind of goes back to that feel. It was made by a Kickstarter campaign, and they did a bang out job. Fantastic job. I would highly recommend Sea of Stars.
Mm.
Totally deserved to be on the list of nominees.
You said this game won, right, for
Yeah,
best RPG.
Sea of Stars was a really great little game.
Very, I like the very cute little kind of animation style that you have here. And it's on the Switch, which I need some more games to play on the Switch.
Yeah,
Uh,
great fun combat system, nice little story, great animations. You can see great sprite work, fantastic sprite work.
oh, that's really nice. I like that. That's pretty good. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, totally deserved to be on the list of RPG nominees for best of. I was really happy to see it. What I am, I guess, a little bit surprised. Spoilers: Bethesda didn't win anything.
They didn't win anything. Yeah,
Starfield didn't win anything. All those
yeah.
tens, even though everyone could tell you, yeah, that probably that. Look, Starfield is. I know there's a lot of fans of Bethesda games. I was one of them at a point, but I kind of lost faith in the whole thing after Fallout 4. Uh, Honestly, if I'm going to be honest, like around Fallout 3 ish. But Starfield, guys, I know you want us to win. It's like a 6 out of 4 game. It's a 6 out of 10 game. I'm sorry, 6 out of 10. It's not Game of the Year. There's so much better competition out there right now. You could play other spacefaring games and probably have a better time. No Man's Sky. Go play No Man's Sky if you want a lot of that.
Yeah, and people were talking about No Man's Sky. This is the 10th anniversary because that got announced at the
Yeah,
very first Game Awards.
yeah, it did, and also No Man's Sky Next finally actually got their award for because they basically relaunched the game after 3 years. Um, Restarted. It was nice. And speaking of No Man's Sky, they announced he announced a new game called Light No Fire, an open world title. It's a procedural fantasy and explored Earth. I think that's pretty neat. Why not? Hopefully, it'll land. It'll start off in a better place than No Man's Sky. And I won't have to wait 10 years for the game to be super amazing. But
Mm.
hey, if you keep giving me that free content every couple of months and making everything so community based and so wonderful, I might just stick with it.
Light No Fire. So what are you kind of doing here in this game? Is it kind
I
of
don't know. He just announced it.
mm,
He revealed Light No Fire, which is, I guess, a fantasy procedural version, and I
yeah.
guess it's No Man's Sky but fantasy. And you know what? Why not?
Yeah,
Why
that's what
not?
kind of very fantasy medieval type
Yeah, why
aspect there.
not?
Yeah.
Basically,
Okay.
have the same system for science fiction. Why not make it fantasy? Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Okay. So before we get into the winners and kind of
Mhm.
losers here that we have, um, do you think the speeches, so there was kind of a controversy that kinda happened
Yeah.
where we were speaking about Baldur's Gate 3, when in one game of the year, they went up there to go give the speech, and the creator, there was talking about a friend that passed away, and then they were kinda like, "Okay, wrap it up," and then they played them off, and people were like, "That's just entirely disrespectful." What do you think about kinda speeches at, these award shows? I mean, award shows in general have
Yeah.
all these kinda long speeches, but it seemed like with these celebrities, kinda these random celebrities coming out, you let them kinda babble on for,
Yeah.
however long, that really extends the time, and then when you actually people who win these awards don't have enough time to give their speeches. What's your kind of opinion there?
Well, I think it's your moment. You're at the award. You wanna say something. You want to dedicate something. That's absolutely it's your time to do so. And it has been abused in the past. And I can understand people shooing them off and to like, hey, we gotta move forward. We got a time to keep, and we can't doing this for forever. And I can see how other people, especially being emotional as he is, trying to talk about it, and they just kind of shoo him off. That is a bit disrespectful. However, I think if you're going to make a speech, we should have a regimented. Okay, you get 30 seconds, 30 to 45 seconds.
That's it? Damn, it's 30, 45 seconds?
Hey, man, like wrap it up, B. Maybe a
Okay.
minute, at most a minute. You get 1 minute to make your speech, and then we play off. So practice in the mirror, practice whatever your speech is, write it up. You get 1 minute.
You wanna hear some Let's hear some of the speech here.
Yeah.
Let me go to it. Let's hear some of the speech.
Again, I'm trying to look at both sides.
Um,
I mean, it's
game
also a
like Baldur's
nerve
Gate
wracking
3
thing.
isn't possible if you don't have an incredible team working on it. And the team at Larian spent their
Mm.
hearts and souls for 6 years
Thank you, Terry Thompson.
on
Thanks
this
for the
game
lurk, man. Much
in
appreciated.
sometimes very difficult circumstances. This was our COVID game. Along the way, we lost quite a few people also. So we want to dedicate this to all the people we lost, and especially to Jim, our lead cinematic artist, who passed away in the last month. I want to thank over 2,000 people, so sit back and relax. But I also want to thank everybody that supported us throughout this entire effort. Our families, our friends, our partners. You were the best, and without you, we couldn't have done it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay. Maybe I got the wrong one. Maybe because I thought they kinda played them off kinda
No,
early.
I don't.
Maybe I got the kinda wrong one, but beautiful speech though there.
Oh yeah. So
Uh,
I think we should probably either have a time allotted or just it exists because people ramble sometimes, but it's also a nerve-wracking experience. It's not an easy answer, but the only thing I can kind of give is a maybe have a recognized time frame and then go from there. But who
mm,
knows?
mm.
Uh, it's not my position to make. I mean, heck, though, without a limit, you can always have moments where Marlon Brando has a Native American take his award and goes on a speech about the environment.
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely break up. I mean, hey, make things interesting, I think.
Yeah, why the hell not, right?
But, yeah, so, I think if you win game of the year, I think you should have extended time more than anyone else to
Yes.
give a speech.
Yeah, I think if it's the last speech, all right, you get a lot of time.
Yeah.
You get
Uh,
extra.
you get extra time. Yeah, I think so. I think at least, like, the minimum time, I think it's probably, like, everybody should get maybe a minute and
Yeah.
32 minutes. I think everybody should get.
Yeah, like
And then
minute, maybe a minute and a half.
extra, for,
Yeah, you get like 3 minutes. You get like 3, 4 minutes.
okay. Oh, so this what it was. So it was the actor who won for best performance here, the lead actor in the game of
Mm,
so let me see this. So this is where they kind of play them off here and they had to wrap it up here. I mean, my mistake about that.
that's fine.
Let's see here. Let me share my screen. Let's see. Here we go.
On the development team truly
Yeah,
gave
man, they didn't even give him a minute. That's not fair.
me the best that it could be.
Please wrap
Yeah.
it up.
プレイヤーの皆さん、
あ
それぞれのユニークなゲームプレイが皆さん独自のファイナルの物語となります。 プレイヤーの皆さん、本当にありがとうございます。Everyone's unique approach to playing this game.
Oh, it was for the legendary
each one
director,
their own
of
story,
Legend of Zelda
as an
here,
adventure through the lands of
Tears of the
Hyrule.
Kingdom.
And to all the
He's getting
players,
told to wrap it up at
you have my sincere thanks. Thank
uh,
you so much.
one.
Yeah, okay, that is disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That is a little disrespectful
Yeah.
with that context, but yeah.
So let's go some of the winners and losers here. As we just mentioned, Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate 3, which
Yeah.
won. Who do you think it was between? Do you think Baldur's Gate 3 was always kind of gonna probably win? Do you think anyone kind of was gonna come close? You think?
Maybe Super Mario Wonder. That was a really good platformer, but if we're looking for pure um pure just like bang for your buck, Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
But Super Mario Brothers Wonder was just such a joy and really great that I could also see people easily saying Resident Evil 4 remake. There's a lot of solid contenders. I would say Super Mario Brothers, Resident Evil 4 remake, even though it didn't need a remake, they did it mostly well. Alan Wake 2 was pretty good for the most part. I don't know if it necessarily should have been Game of the Year nominated, but it's pretty good. But yeah, and just among the competition, Baldur's Gate 3, it was gonna sweep.
Yeah. So you have best game direction. You have Alan Wake 2, which won 3 awards for the night. It won also best narrative,
Best art
um,
direction.
best art direction. So yeah, good winner for Alan Wake 2. There, best score and music. You have Final Fantasy 16.
I would have gone with Hi-Fi Rush personally.
High Five Rush, which that game that won for best audio design.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fair to put the Dead Space remake though. It was fair to put that up there
Yeah.
for good audio design. Horror needs audio design.
Yeah. Yeah, Dead Space, yeah. I mean, horror design and what you do with
Mhm.
kinda a lot of that stuff too. That's pretty up there. Best performance, Neil Newborn, for Baldur's Gate 3.
Mhm.
You think that's the right decision? You have Ben Starr here, you have Cameron Monaghan, Idris Elba, Melanie LaBird, and Laurie
Yuri
Lowenthal
Lowenthal.
for Marvel Spider-Man. So you think that was the right choice?
From what I've seen, Neil Newborn had a lot. I think that was you had a close call between the voice acting, but I think it was like a tough call. But I could see how it would be fair to see Neil Newborn getting as the winner. I would have liked Yuri Lowenthal. I think he could have done better, but the material they wrote for him in Marvel Spider-Man 2, he wasn't really allowed to really shine like he was in the first game. So if it was Spider-Man 1, that would have been a way tougher competition. But with Spider-Man 2, yeah, it's justified seeing Neil Newborn as the winner.
Yeah. Best so games for impact. You have Teacher is the winner there. Best ongoing game. You have Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, absolutely. That Cyberpunk definitely took that for what they added.
Yeah. Best indie game is
Yeah,
Weird
I was
Game.
happy to see Sea of Stars get it for indie. Dredge is also great. Dave the Diver is great. The other two, Cocoon and Viewfinder, those are interesting choices. They're not bad at all,
Mhm.
but they're interesting choices. But yeah,
Okay. And we're gonna
definitely
get
play.
into.
And go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. With this show, we're gonna get into some of the big
Oh
announcements.
yeah,
Kind
so
of that.
like there were some silent drops. This Cocoon, great of a debut. That's solid. Although I would have gone with Pizza Tower personally.
Okay.
Pizza Tower or Dredge for best indie debut. Although Cocoon is good.
Okay. Best mobile game.
I mean, they were gonna
Star
choose
Rail?
Honkai. They
Honkai
were gonna
Star.
choose it because it's breaking in millions and millions of dollars every day.
Okay. I haven't heard of that one before.
Yeah, Honkai
Honkai.
Star Rail is probably the Neo. They also made Third Star Impact. It's a gotcha game. It's a gotcha RPG game, and Osmond Gold talks about it. He's played it a bunch, and he's talked about it a bunch of those games too. The other creators have also talked about it too, but yeah, it's a heavy gotcha game, kind of like Genshin Impact, but on mobile with more gotcha elements.
Have you played it?
No,
Okay,
I just know of it.
just know of it. Okay, all right there. You didn't play Kitty Island Adventure? You didn't play that?
No, I didn't get to that one.
That wasn't on your list.
Nah.
Let's see. Best community support. You have Baldur's Gate 3, which won this. Best VR/AR game. Resident Evil Village. I still don't have VR or anything
Hmm.
that I don't have.
That's fine.
Don't think it's worth the investment yet, really. Innovation and accessibility. You have Forza Motorsport here. Let's see. Best action game. You have Armored Core 6. Best action adventure. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, that was deserved. I'll give it that.
Did you play that Legend?
No,
Okay.
but I know people who played it. I've watched gameplay of it. It's deserved.
Did you play all the other ones?
I played Jedi Survivor. I played Marvel. I played got to Alan Wake. Yeah, I mean for the adventure part of it, yeah. If you're going by the category of action adventure, Legend of Zelda is the most actiony adventure-y, aside from Survivor
Mm, okay.
and
Uh,
Spider Man.
Best RPG. Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah,
Best.
that was the toughest competition right there. Aside from Starfield, I would choose something else. But the other 4 on there, uh, Final Fantasy 16 had its competition, and it wasn't as heavy competition between Lies of P and Sea of Stars and a few others. That was it. We've been very good in getting some good RPGs this year.
So you had Final Fantasy 16, Lives of P, Sea of
Mhm.
Stars, and Starfield, which were the nominees
Yeah,
there for that. Best fighting game. I think everybody was pretty much gonna
yeah.
pick
Street
Street
Fighter
Fighter.
6.
Yeah, I think that was a pretty easy one. I think. Best family game.
Yeah,
Mario Brothers Wonder. Uh, Best sports/racing game. Forza Motorsport.
yeah. Forza.
Forza Motorsport there. Best sim/strategy game. Pinkman 4. Pikmin
Pikmin.
4.
Yeah,
Pikmin 4.
Advanced
Best
Wars reboot was pretty good. Company Heroes of 3 was pretty solid. Cities Skylines 2 was an absolute disaster and is still a disaster. It should not be on that. It shouldn't even be nominated. It's a broken
uh
and buggy mess.
Best multiplayer game. Baldur's Gate 3.
That one was a little suspect, where I was like, what is your definition of multiplayer for Baldur's Gate? Really?
Hmm.
I
And the
felt that one was a little suspect.
competition was Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, Super Mario Brothers Wonder.
Rem, yeah, like that's a little suspect on it winning that.
Content creator of the year. I don't really care about that.
Yeah,
Best
we're not even there. We're not even close. We'll never be in that.
best esports team. Most anticipated game. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. People seem like that was going to be the clear winner there.
Yeah,
Final
people have
Fantasy.
been waiting for 12, 14 years for a remake.
Yeah. And then the competition was Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8.
Yeah, and that most anticipated, yeah, it's gonna probably win. Aside from Hades 2.
Yeah. Which I heard the first one's very good.
Oh yeah, Hades is fantastic.
Yeah. Best adaptation. So this was Last of Us 1. And then the competition was Twisted Metal, Super Mario Brothers movie, Gran Turismo, Castlevania Nocturne. Out of this,
Out of
Last
this, the only other solid competition to have was the Super Mario Brothers
Yeah.
movie.
yeah.
Gran Turismo gets like a third place spot.
Yeah. If I had to
That's it.
rank all of it, it'd be Last of Us, Super Mario Brothers,
Yeah.
Castlevania, Gran Turismo. No, Twisted Metal, then Gran Turismo.
Damn.
I've had to rank them. And I say we reviewed the movie Gran Turismo.
Yeah, we did.
And it was
We both-
fine.
We both enjoyed it.
Yeah, and not say I hate it or anything like that. It's just I think out of all of
If
this,
you go by adaptation, yeah.
yeah, maybe this one's at the bottom. I've had to rank them. Player's voice, and then the people's favorite game.
That was a tough Why is Genshin Impact even there?
It was Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Phantom Liberty.
Yeah,
Genshin
that
Impact.
was I was surprised in the player's voice that it didn't go to Legend of Zelda, but I knew the fervent fan base of Baldur's Gate 3 was probably going to overtake it, and I was right.
Mm, yeah. But it's some especially winning up against Marvel Spider-Man
Oh
2,
yeah,
Legend of Zelda, that's some pretty big franchises there.
yeah.
So, that's pretty impressive.
It is. It's still impressive. I mean, it's sweeping, especially from a smaller studio, even though it's owned by a or cooperating with a bigger partner.
Mm, yeah. All right. Anything from the Game Awards, any announcements, you wanted to get into first before I start pulling up some, trailers?
I was happy to hear that the Persona people who made Persona 3, 4, and 5, Atlas is looking to making a new JRPG called Metaphor Refantasio. I'm happy to see more new JRPG.
You said it's called Metaphors?
Yeah, Metaphor Refantasio.
Okay.
I know there's not much on it right now, but they announced it.
Okay.
I'm happy to see something new. Whether it'll be good or not, I don't know. But hey, new
They
thing.
just
They
there was no trailer, this is, like, from a different game?
Yeah, this is kind of a. It's just like it's a drop. Whether it'll be good or not, I don't know. But hey, who knows?
Mm, okay.
It's
Oh,
something different. We'll see.
okay. Let's see here. So, as we mentioned, we're gonna get into some announcements that came there. Some big ones, trailers that drop, of course, the Game Awards. Always gonna have some good trailers drop. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6, I mean, that basically was probably
Yeah.
enough for a lot of people that came out Monday already. Or actually came out what, Tuesday, actually? The Grand Theft Auto trailer. I didn't get your any thoughts or opinions on that. What did you think about the Grand Theft Auto 6 trailer?
Uh, I will wait and see. There's a lot of details from that initial trailer. It looks really good. Looks dang good. But again, it's a CGI trailer and I don't really trust it.
Well, the developers, I think they said this is all in-game stuff,
I
right?
will believe when I see. I've been led astray far too many times to believe it. But if it is even close to actual gameplay, I will be. This will be the next generation of open world games. Rockstar's done it before. They did it with Red Dead 2, where it is incredibly impressive. And they have the ability. I know they have the talent and the ability to make it and the money to make it, but we'll see. Wondering whether or not it'll still have the Grand Theft Auto quality. 5 was kind of a misstep for me in the narrative sense, and I hope they get back to it on this in the Grand Theft Auto. But seeing this trailer, I'm not too hopeful on the narrative aspect. But who knows?
Mm, yeah, seems like I said before, we talked about it, Bonnie and Clyde type of thing kinda going
Yeah,
on here. Bringing back the Vice City type element back in Florida, and people matching up, so a lot of the some of the things you see in this trailer are actually, like, real life criminals, say, like, the woman with the hammer, like, like
hmm
videos that went viral, situations like that. The guy
yeah,
that was in the Joker makeup, where is he there? There's also him there, as you saw in the trailer. He's, like, in the news footage there that you also see. That's also, like, from Florida. The guy pulling it right there, that guy there in the Joker kinda makeup there.
hmm
So yeah, so you have various things that they pulled there from real life. But it looks gorgeous, looks
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
absolutely. If it is even close to what it showed off, this will be a game changer.
Yeah. Definitely, and this is coming out in 2025, so, it came out with a
Yeah,
trailer and a release date. Somewhere in 2025, it's gonna be coming out.
yeah.
It's gonna be 12 years in the making at that point, 'cause the last GTA game came out in 2013.
40,
Um,
80 minimum.
um, I mean, it's probably gonna break records, right? I mean, Grand
Yeah.
Theft Auto 6 is probably gonna be
It's
humongous.
regardless of they know regardless, people have been hungry. It's been almost 10 years since the last new Grand Theft Auto, and people are hungry for a new Grand Theft Auto. So no matter what they do, they're gonna break records. It doesn't matter what they put out; they're gonna break records. It's just whether or not what they put out is good.
Mm, yeah. Alright. So, some games that we were kinda excited to see at the Game Awards. God of War. God of
Mm,
War is getting some DLC, and it's gonna be God of War Valhalla.
free
Uh,
DLC.
Free DLC too. What's your thoughts? Did you get a chance to see this trailer?
Yeah, I did. I It's basically an endless arena where you're as an extra mode, kind of what they had in the first game, where you could go to Helheim or N- Nibelheim, or not Nibelheim, the both Hell and the Frost area. You could basically go in the swamp area. You could go for endless getting new equipment, getting better armor, go on runs, and see how long you last against hordes.
Mm, yeah. And you beat God of War 20, not I'm sorry, Ragnarok, right?
No, I have not.
Okay. Yeah, and a lot of the especially like some of the enemies there are really difficult to beat.
Oh, sure.
And the combat there is really great. With a lot of the stuff as always. So it's good to see it getting some kind of DLC. And you mentioned free DLC there too, which is always nice. But the combat is also really, really, really terrific. So that's good to
Mhm.
see there with this game. So that was kind of a fun announcement to get there and to get
Oh
that.
yeah, more content that actually allows you to use the combat system in your action game, action adventure game is always a good thing.
Mm, yeah, and it's coming December 12th there.
Yeah, that was a really. I remember seeing people being really excited for that. That it was
Yeah,
so soon.
yeah, and free.
Yeah,
That where they should make that bigger.
yeah. It should
Yeah,
just cover the entire page,
yeah,
the
it's like
entire screen, free.
it's free, free people. Don't forget that. So yeah, that was kind of some exciting news. Hideo Kojima had a big announcement as he always kind of does, coming out in the Game Awards there, making there, and he also came out with director Jordan Peele
Yeah.
as well. How did you feel about kind of that big announcement that they did for the game?
Well, he's come out with other trailers before. I remember PT and Guillermo del Toro playable trailer with the Silent Hill game that never was, unfortunately, where they killed all Kojima. I'm sorry. Oh my god, Konami killed the hype of that and
Mm.
instantly by canceling it, which was the dumbest thing they could have possibly
I
done.
like I like the dude in the crowd. He pointed
Oh
to his
yeah,
chair and said, "Oh yeah, that's the dude from that movie. That's the
it
black
is
guy."
that good. Yeah, that's the time for the movie. It's
Hey, oh
great.
shit, yeah, he did that movie about them scary white people. Yeah, he did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did that one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so yeah,
Greatest
um,
comedy ever.
yeah, so yeah, Jordan Peele, who's all about the horror, doing movies like Nope, Us, Get Out,
Yeah.
teaming up with Kojima, who is a big fan of Western movies, Western kind of
Oh
culture
yeah.
there. Big fan of that. It's also teamed with other kind of Western, and also other Hollywood directors before, like he did, like you said, you mentioned PT, there before, him and Guillermo del Toro with, because that was also who's supposed to star in that game, Norman Reedus, correct?
Yeah, it was Norman Reedus was supposed to be in there. So the trio of them eventually made Death Stranding work together in Death Stranding because of that collaboration.
Yeah. And how'd you feel about Death Stranding?
Death Stranding is its own beast. Uh Gameplay wise, it's not got a lot going there. The extended edition certainly helped and did improve it quite a bit. And the mods from the community have really improved it because they built things and they've really helped it go along. It's got a very dedicated fan base. But it's a very like it or don't game. It's very much a you either going to like this game or you're going to hate it.
Mm. You play
Very
like basically
divisive.
like a post-apocalyptic delivery
Post
man.
delivery man, yeah.
Yeah. And the game is just called OD. I think he said on Twitter it wasn't overdose. I think did he say, or
Yeah.
was it there? Because this article I'm reading here says Overdose is a new horror game built in collaboration between Kojima Productions and Xbox Game Studios for the cloud. Kojima's new game was unveiled at the Game Awards 2023. It's been a few years since the Kojima Productions partnership with Xbox Game Studios was first teased, and we know we now have a little more information. The game is called OD, and it sounds pretty damn strange, as always with
Yeah.
Kojima. A lot of stuff. Or Overdose, as it's also being called, is set to explore the true nature of fear, blurring the lines between a traditional video game and movie experience, drawing in top talent from Hollywood, including beloved actors and Oscar-winning writers. So in the trailer here, you have the girl that was in It here. You have her,
Mhm.
Sophia Lillis. You don't recognize her at all here.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm Zingy Fox.
but of course, with Kojima, it's always
Jabbering crab.
super weird. There's always some weird shit
And the
there.
man whale and started
Um,
venting and cracking.
there. And at this point, I think Kojima should, and that's Hunter Schafer. Oh, that's Hunter Schafer. She's from
Yeah.
Euphoria. Um,
Terrible dinosaur.
and at this point, Kojima, I think, should honestly just direct a movie at this point. I think,
Yeah, he's been honestly, that's what he went into video games to do. If you hear him talk in interviews, he always wanted to make a movie. That was his dream. His dream was to make a movie, and he wrote games like he would write a movie, all the way from Sega CD, where he made Hunter. I think I'm saying that. Remember Hunter, which is a cult following its own. He had a lot of ideas from that game that would go into his Metal Gear Solid series, including Outer Haven, The Boss, and Meryl. Like Meryl's prototype basically is in that game. So he's played with those ideas quite a bit. He's a huge fan of cinema, Western cinema, and just movies in general. Hell, he even based a lot of dialogue between Jack, who is or Raiden, and his love interest Rose. Their relationship when they talk about movies, it's mostly things that he was interested in and stuff that he broached people with, or what he is passionate about. So honestly, yeah, man, just bite the bullet and make your own movie. Like I can't go through 20 hours of cutscenes like I did through Metal Gear Solid 4 again.
Okay, so this is what the tweet I was talking
Mhm.
about. So it is called maybe overdose here, because he said the OD does not stand for neither oxygen destroyer nor open the door. So people, yeah, so overdose, I guess, is the official title here for OD. So
I
yeah.
agree. 70% of my body is made of movies. I do agree. His testament is correct.
Oh yeah, his bio here in his Twitter. Yeah, yeah. I mean, clearly he wants to direct movies. I mean, he keeps teaming up with all these filmmakers and everything like that. I mean,
He
maybe-
wants to do it. He has a lot of strange ideas, but I'm going to be honest. He has a lot of talented people working around him that make his ideas work, and a lot of times they don't, but they are interesting.
yeah.
He's an auteur in the sense that he does have a vision. Whether that vision is good or bad is up to the people who's able to interpret it.
Mm. In this article I'm reading from Games Radar, it says, at least when creative director Kojima was working on Metal Gear Solid games, you sort of know where you were getting cinematic stealth action, but as soon as he started to stretch into other franchises and new IP, his work became more difficult to anticipate. PT was a masterclass in looping psychological horror, Death Stranding, an oddly esoteric game about hiking through an apocalypse, and then there's OD. So, I mean, at least, like, I mean, it's funny he brings up Jordan Peele because it's like always
Mhm.
anticipating, what Jordan Peele is going to do next. Everybody's like trying to decipher his movies and figure out, like, what is, like, when Nope came out, like, what is this going to be about? And it's going to be about aliens. It's going to be about this. It's going to be about that. So Jordan Peele also has that kind of same appeal where people always try to guess what he's going to do next, as far as what his movies are about. So, yeah, OD there. Yeah, just announced that. All right, let's move on to something else. We speaking about Final Fantasy a little bit before. And let's get into the trailer for it here. What's your thoughts on this Final Fantasy trailer?
On 16 or no, it's 7.
This is Rebirth. Yeah,
This is Rebirth. I'm intrigued to see where they're going to go because it's very clear that they're not making a remake anymore. They're taking aspects of the original Final Fantasy VII story, and Nomura and his team are have at this point rewrote quite a bit of aspects
Damn.
of the game and are going through making changes and interpreting it differently. So I have no idea what the hell he's taking this series, but it's very clearly using a mix of both the original Final Fantasy VII that people have been wanting to be remade for forever and his own thing. And you either like it or don't. For purists, this has been a tough thing to see, who've been waiting for 15 years to see a pure remake. And for other people, this game has been amazing. So the previous one was amazing. So hopefully, we'll see.
And then how many more pieces of the story do they have left?
Oh God! So the first game and its additional DLC only covered the first disc. So they have 3 more discs to go.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's huge. Final Fantasy 7 is huge.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is a really huge game. So it makes sense why you would kind of break it up as much as you would. So I don't think it comes off as like a cash grab that much of, because like each of these feel like such a full game there with
Yeah.
and I still haven't even beat the last Final Fantasy 7. I still haven't even beat that one yet. So I still have that. And Final Fantasy 7 is how I got into the Final Fantasy series. I remember playing that on PlayStation 1. So I mean, see it be remade and to expand this and make this really huge thing. I mean, yeah, I mean you can definitely see and you got to think about all the work that takes into actually building
Oh
the
my
game.
god, the countless
Yeah.
amount of work that has gone in through this.
And this is coming
Now
out
Mhm.
February 29th, 2024 there.
Yeah. In theory, based on the imagery, it looks like they're combining discs 2 and 3
Hmm.
into a collective because the scene where she's kneeling in the wings is the most famous death in video game history. So if they're heading towards that, that's at least in disc 3,
Hmm.
if I recall correctly.
Okay. Mm. Well, let's see.
So
Did you pick up the Final Fantasy 7?
did I ever? I picked it up later when I was on PC when it was on a sale.
Okay. And you think you're gonna get this, or you're gonna wait till you beat
I'm
it?
gonna wait.
Okay.
I'm gonna wait, man. I'm gonna wait till it's on a good sale when they release the other added DLC of the parts that they didn't include because they had to get this out just to finish.
Mm. Okay.
Uh, they also released the Crisis Core one on PC recently because they did a quote unquote remaster of that one that some fans weren't happy about because they took some things out and changed some things, especially with Tifa. But I mean, that's why you have PC. You just mod that stuff back in.
All right. So next trailer game we discuss is Jurassic Park, Survival.
Hmm.
And I was seeing this trailer there live when I was watching the Game Awards. So it's gonna be like a survival horror game.
It's Alien Isolation, but Jurassic Park.
Yeah, that's a perfect description of it. That's what it is. So it's a way to play around in the world there and the run from dinosaurs if that's so choose. I don't really like those type of games myself because
Mhm.
I don't think it's not as active really there. Like you mentioned, Alien Isolation, it's a very good game for people who love those type of games. The
Oh, it's
sound,
fantastic.
it has what I mean, again, you're in the alien world there of Ridley Scott there, that world where you're trying to hide from the xenomorph, there. But if you're into that type of thing, but I'm personally not myself. What do you think about Jurassic Park Survival?
Um, I appreciate that they have her in 90s esque clothes with the open jeans and the really kind of baggy shirt.
Mm.
That was the style of the time back in those days. Aside from that, this is a CGI trailer. I can't see gameplay. I don't know. As a concept, I'm up for more Alien Isolation. Alien Isolation was one of the best horror games that came out at that time, and it's a dang shame that it did not get as much money as it deserved. I was really hoping for a sequel or continuation of Amanda Ripley's story. What we did get Descent, Aliens Descent, Dark Descent, which also is very good. It's just a different genre entirely, but it's a very good game as well. So more type of Isolation type games will be really fun, especially with dinos and Jurassic Park. I think it's a really neat mix.
Mm.
Uh, I do hope we get to play as more than one character, though. It would be nice to
Well, here's
see
some
different.
gameplay right here.
Yeah, a little bit, but you know what I mean. Like it's a little bit just to wet your whistle. Uh,
Mm.
I'm intrigued to see if the game will focus on other characters on the island all trying to escape and if they'll work together or not. Because she was using a radio and trying to communicate with people. So I'll be curious to see if you're just alone or if you'll just be her character the entire time, just like with Amanda Ripley. I don't mind that. I don't if a story is good, I don't mind to focus on his single character, but it will be interesting, especially how big the park is. It'll be interesting to see it from other points of view.
Yeah. So a little bit. So this is from the IGN here, the article here. It says here they remember Jurassic Park Survival. You might. It's a canceled action adventure game from the early 2000s that we never got to play due to the struggles at the development studio. Well, the name is back as a new Jurassic Park game, but it's got a totally different developer and seems to be based in a totally different movie. For some history, Jurassic Park Survival was an action adventure game that was once in development by the now defunct Savage Entertainment in the early 2000s, which with Konami as the publisher. At the time, it was planned to be based on the film Jurassic Park 3 and ended up falling apart due to number of communication and funding issues. Um, so
There's a nice documentary on it, or at least some interviews on that game.
okay. And this did it have a release date on this trailer? Let me see. I don't think it did.
I don't believe so.
No, it did not.
No, I didn't believe so.
No.
Only that it's coming to consoles and possibly PC, probably.
Yeah. Yep. Consoles, yeah, and PC for you people. All right. Let's get into. I don't know if you really know that much about Dragon Ball or anything like that.
Yeah, this is, I believe it's
Dragon Ball.
Sparkling Zero.
Yeah, Sparking Zero. Yeah.
Yeah. This is a Budokai Tenkaichi. I don't think it's the same as the Budokai Tenkaichi 4 that was recently announced that has been really hype. People waiting for a Tenkaichi game for, gosh, almost 10 years now, since the PlayStation 2 days.
Yeah. So it kind of takes that similar kind of style though, that you kind of see there. But it's a kind of similarly the new kind of Budokai Tenkaichi kind of game there. Which it looks good. I think it looks good. I think, definitely still captures that style of the series there. The last Dragon Ball Z game I really played like that was Fighter Z, which I thought was a really good fighting game and a lot of fun.
It's fantastic.
And I thought that was it had the perfect animation from the show. And I dropped it, and then they made a bunch of updates with that game, and I haven't been able to go back since. I'm like, I have to relearn all the combos.
Yeah, you got to relearn all this.
I was like, I ain't doing it. But it says right here, so the newest entries in the mega popular Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi series made its world premiere at the Game Awards. Its name is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Although Dragon Ball Sparking Zero doesn't have a set release date, fans can wishlist the game on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and Steam. Here it says back in March, Bankai Namco virtually broke the web gamer portion of the internet with teaser trailer of the new Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi game at Dragon Ball Games Battle Hour 2023. At the time, the nostalgia-infused CRT trailer didn't give much away in terms of how much the game would play, aside from showcasing Goku's explosive Super Saiyan Blue transformation. Not only does the reveal trailer show actual gameplay and cutscenes in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, but it also shows some iconic old and new faces. Yeah. So
Sparkling is also a deep cut reference to the opening. The Japanese opening of Dragon Ball Z was called Hechala, and the last line that they used at the very end is sparkling. And so that's I think what I believe that's what it's a reference to.
Okay.
That's a DBZ deep cut. If it is, that's a deep cut. If it is,
that'd be a nice deep cut there. What's the last Dragon Ball Z game you played?
Z Fighter Z. And the last one I've recently picked up, I played a little bit of Xenoverse 2, and then
got Frieza back. You always have to bring Frieza back.
I heard Kakarot was not bad.
Frieza's basically like the Joker of the fucking Dragon Ball universe.
He's the most. He's the most just showy of the Dragon Ball Z main villains. Aside until you get to Cell, the very over the top. His original dub voice actor unfortunately did pass away last year, so that was sad to see. But because he did a great job as Frieza, but the guy they have it sounds pretty good. So good on him stepping into their shoes.
Yeah. We just got 2 more trailers, and we're gonna be heading out of here. Black Myth.
I am super excited for this.
Same. This game seems like it's been in development for a long time.
It has been for at least 3 to 4, almost 3 years now since its original show off.
Yeah. Seen some trailers, teasers for it, but now with this trailer, you actually have an official release date for this now. And I mean, very much impressed by the look of this game, the mythology of the game.
Oh
Um,
yeah, this is
seem-
really old school Chinese philosophy, Chinese mythology
yeah. It seems to be like Dark Souls, kind
mixed
of,
with the Journey to the West mythos.
yeah, it has right there Journey to the West, a Chinese fantasy novel, 1592. Ninja Gaiden type, it seems like also type of gameplay that you have here.
Mm.
But it kind of seems like has that kind of similar style here. But love the art design with a lot
Oh
of the
yeah,
characters. The world here is very interesting. Get into that.
has a
Uh,
mix of Hinduism in here as well, Eastern mythology as well, along with the Chinese mythology.
mm, yeah, very impressive to see.
A
Lot of,
lot of the if this is gameplay, a lot of the animation through body language is very well done. That's very hard to do.
yeah, you got Kung Fu Panda in here. He's there.
Yeah, he mad.
See that? Yeah, this dude with just light bulbs for head for face and head there. Yeah, yeah, love the creature. Yeah, love a lot of creature design here. Yeah,
Yeah, this if this is accurate to gameplay or even close, this is going to rival even. I mean, hopefully, we don't know, but
oh, that looks good. Oh,
yeah, hopefully it'll rival something to the level of Sekiro or those
God
kind
of
of
War.
yeah, God of War. Just like the amount of animations and mixed with combat. So I'm really looking forward to this. It's something different. It's something new and in the mythology I really enjoy. So
Can you
I'm
wait
excited.
August 2020?
As long as I don't die before then, yeah.
And yeah, this is coming out, yeah, on consoles there, PS5.
Steam and Epic at the same time, which is good to see.
Yeah. Oh man. So Confront Destiny. August 2024. Yeah. This is probably one of my most anticipated games of next year.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm really looking forward to this and I hope it's amazing.
I hope
I really
my body is Reggie.
And we got one last trailer, and that is going to be for Blade. Blade. They announced kind of now this. They didn't really show any gameplay here
No.
for this. Just kind of announcing this about Bethesda, people who did Dishonored, Deathloop, Arcane studio
Also
here,
by the same people who made Redfall,
Redfall.
who was also a vampire game
um.
that did not end well.
So, what are some of your thoughts on this Blade game announcement here?
First of all, I can respect the drip.
Mm,
I respect
yeah.
the drip. I
Okay.
respect Blade's his character has always, at least from a certain point, has had a characterization of, especially since Wesley Snipes kind of took over the character and really brought him into his current incarnation. I respect the man. He's about to go and fight vampires, and he's getting just a bit of a haircut, one last shave before he does so, and he's like not worried about it, pretty chill. It's like I do this all the time,
Yeah, gotta get the
and
fresh cut before you go
gotta
out
get a
there.
fresh cut before I kill the undead. He pays the
And
man, got respect. Uh, Blade, Wesley Snipes' interpretation, which really helped make him different from the other Marvel cast, is his too cool for school, just very calm and very kind of it's going to be all right kind of mentality, even when facing terrible odds.
mhm,
That's what kind of he's cool under pressure. And it's good to see that kind of translated. I love the shop that had a bunch of crosses and religious iconography to help him out. Cuts his
yeah,
finger a bit, and the added line of "Hey, it's okay, I don't bite."
yeah. And this is in Paris, by the way. It's like in the quarantine section of Paris.
He's got a Hanukkah. He's got a menorah in there.
Got some beats playing.
He's got some beats.
Seem like Blade. He got nice shoes on here. Okay.
Relax, man. I don't bite.
Again, I love that. That's great. That's very a Blade response.
Yeah. I wonder who's doing the voice here.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that. I was actually expecting a deeper voice with him, but I think it works in a
It
more.
sounds kind of close to Mahershala Ali how he talks.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, where he probably would have kind of played it.
Which Mahershala Ali is going to be playing Blade in the upcoming Blade movie if that ever comes
If
out.
that ever comes out, that's been rewritten 5 or 6 times now, and he's threatened to walk at least a couple of times.
Yeah, so
He almost actually legitimately did walk from the project when it was quote unquote leaked that they basically made Blade a 5th character and like a 4th character in a movie that was going to be about, I think it was like three women, and he was just going to be there just to like
Mm.
chaperone them. And he's like, "Why would you hire me to play the titular character if it has nothing to do with me?"
right. That seems really weird. I don't know. Yeah. But it's Anthony Starr is who's Homelander. He's gonna be Dracula in it.
Oh, I can't wait for that, man.
He
Pigeonhole
shoulda-
and villain. Don't please. I hope he doesn't get pigeonholed in villain mode roles, but man, he just does them so well.
Yeah, he should be Wesker. He should be Wesker.
You know what? Yeah, actually, if they did a reinterpretation of it, I think he'd actually do a pretty solid Wesker.
Yeah.
He would have the charisma the Wesker really should have had when he started the Stars team, where you didn't believe he was the bad guy because he had the charisma to convince you otherwise before he revealed his true colors.
Yeah. And you said Arcane, so they already did another vampire
Yeah,
game.
they did Redfall. I don't know if it's Arcane Lion, but that was a multiplayer shooter, and that did not go well. The story for that one is a lot sadder. Arcane was forced by then ZeniMax at the time, their parent-owned company, to make a live service game back when that was like really hot to do so.
This was Arcane Austin.
Yeah, Arcane Austin, unfortunately. And Arcane Austin was forced to do so and make it multiplayer, and nobody on the team on Arcane Austin wanted to make this game. They genuinely didn't want to make it. That's not what Arcane does. We don't want to do it, but ZeniMax basically forced them. So when they got bought out by Microsoft, a lot of developers actually hoped that the game would be canceled by Microsoft. Like they would look at it and say, please just cancel it. Cancel so we can work on something else. They even begged, can we make it single player? Maybe make it co-op. Anything but doing this, because they had to hire new teams, people who specialize in multiplayer, people who went there. It didn't work out for anybody, and it came out as a buggy mess, and Microsoft is trying to commit to improving it, but even with everything they've done, there's just no
So
salvage from it.
what they were trying to do like a Left 4 Dead.
They're trying to do like a Left 4 Dead for vampires with more like with Arcane's more comic booky style they've had since Dishonored. And
I wanted to play Deathloop. Deathloop looked pretty interesting. I heard
Deathloop is interesting. You might like it, but it's a time puzzle game that is really bare bones, and you repeat levels a lot. In order to progress through it, you actually have to repeat a lot of the same levels to get in the right sequence, to get enough guns and weapons to be in the right sequence to get out of your current situation. So it's actually quite a bit of a repetitive game with not a lot of mechanics that kind of synchronize. Honestly, if you want to play Deathloop, play Prey Mooncrash first. Because Prey Mooncrash was a DLC for Prey, which Prey is not probably one of the Arcane's unsung games. I would highly recommend anyone who listens to this get Prey. It didn't deserve the beatdown. It's unfortunate that Bethesda used the Prey name, even though it belongs to another really great first-person shooter series. They owned the IP, so they just used it and slapped it on this. It should have been named something else like Typhoon or what it was about, but it's basically space Bioshock. It's great. Prey Mooncrash is great. It takes the same premise of what would be Deathloop, but it's more refined and limited, which is ironic because Deathloop came much later after this. But what works in Mooncrash doesn't quite work in Deathloop, at least in my opinion. But I like the 60s aesthetic of Deathloop, but that's really about kind of where it is. But I would recommend Prey Mooncrash. Definitely check that out.
Okay. And with this Blade game, So Arcane, the developer behind 2021's Deathloop, has announced its next project, a video game focused on the iconic vampire hunter Blade, alongside confirming its next project, Arcane Lion, focused on the first teaser trailer for the game. Professor called it a mature, single-player, third-person game set in the heart of Paris. Arcane has just begun development on the game, per Marvel Studios' announcement, which will tell a new original story. Marvel's Blade game will take players to a quarantine section of Paris in the middle of a supernatural emergency, where the synopsis: vampires have emerged, terrorizing the city of lights and forcing Parisans to shelter inside the homes at night to wait for sunrise. This is the second vampire-focused game from Arcane Studios, following 2023's Redfall by Arcane Austin. This will be Lion's first jab at a vampire slaying action title. What are you kind of expecting from this Blade game? What kind of gameplay wise, story wise? What do you kind of most expect?
I mean, it's can focus on Blade killing vampires, probably delving into supernatural connections, dealing with environments. Probably, maybe it may or may not have a day and night cycle. That might be interesting to see. Would be pretty hard because during the day vampires will be weaker, but at night they'd be stronger. But he's the Daywalker, aka he's a half vampire. So
The Daywalker.
Daywalker. If you don't know the lore of Blade, his mother was bitten while she was before she gave birth to him, and she was infected with vampirism, and he was born half vampire, half human. So he's a Daywalker. He has all the strengths of a vampire to a limit, but none of the thirst, the deadly thirst that he wants for blood. Although he can do so, and it does power him up. But unlike other vampires, he doesn't have a worry for garlic. He doesn't have their weaknesses, and he can walk in the day. And that's why they call him Daywalker.
Yeah, Daywalker. Yeah. You think we're gonna get something like this?
Oh, I hope so. I hope he goes to a French rave party with French Nouveau music and he just slaughters a bunch of vampires. I hope so. God, I hope so.
I mean, I don't know, with that animation style, I think we're gonna get something as violent as this, but I don't know. I mean, Deathloop, we saw a trailer for it. It got, there's some
They got kind of violence,
you know what I mean?
Arcade's not afraid to use violence. They've murdered people in their games. He played stealth killers in previous Arcane games. So yeah. I mean, not too much violence happened here. There's kind of blood, but they just turned into CGI skeletons.
Yeah, that was it was like the Buffy thing. It was kind of like when Buffy.
It was. I mean, it's saved on the blood effects and it's saved on other things.
Yeah.
Go get him, Wesley Snipes. Honestly, Wesley Snipes could still play Blade even now.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with it.
He still looks really good. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
He go one last time as an older Blade. Still going at it.
Yeah. Maybe
the first two movies in the Blade trilogy are fantastic.
Oh yeah, we did we did a whole year retrospective on it. Yeah, Blade review there. That we did for the channel there. I'm sorry I cut you off there.
No, it's all good. Yeah, the first two movies, they're definitely a capstone or a time capsule of when they were made, but they're both good for different reasons. I think I like the second one more, but nobody likes the third one. Even the people who made it don't like the third one.
Yeah.
Patton also had a great interview about his time working on the third one, and he's like, that movie is a D grade movie, but when you consider the amount that it even got made, then it's like an A+ level of effort that they even got out there.
Would you
go ahead?
Oh, I was gonna say, do you like that effect with the vampires there, where it kind of just turns into like skeletons and shit?
Not really. If I'm gonna be honest, I tolerate it because I accept it as is. Although I do like the scene later where the guy gets brought out to the sun and burned alive. That's actually a pretty solid effect where he just burns and his skin kind of. I mean, it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's been a minute since I've seen it, so.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit of like vampires, like the way it kind of works. Their thing of like somebody can just put on sunscreen and then they could just go out into the sun or something. And it's like, well, what about his eyeballs or?
That's why they wear glasses.
But in that scene where like when Frost was talking to Blade, he wasn't wearing.
I know. The movie decides when it wants to work and when it doesn't, and you
Yeah,
kind of just have to go with it.
yeah.
It
It's
does most of it. The script is solid enough, but you can definitely tell where the holes are. Where it's like, no, that doesn't quite work. But what you set up, but
yeah. But I'm excited. New Blade
yeah,
video game.
why not?
Uh,
Like Wolverine from Insomniac, I'm eager to see an R-rated action adventure with these two violent heroes,
um,
violent vigilantes. I guess I don't know.
did
Logan's
you
not
ever
really a hero.
did you ever play Blade on the PS2?
Oh my god, you're like bringing back super old memories. Yeah, like a little bit. Oh god. Oh man. Yeah, I played like a little bit of that. I rented it for a bit. I played
Oh,
the Van Helsing game. Do you remember that one?
Van
The
Helsing
PSC?
game
Yeah, the Van
with
Helsing with
Hugh
Hugh
Jackman.
Jackman. Yeah,
I don't think I ever played that game. I don't think.
that one's like all right. They had a mechanic where if you dodged or moved around, your hat would fall off, and you could roll back over or walk over to the hat and you put it back on, and you got extra points at the end of the level if you had your hat still on and you didn't forget it.
Man, I miss kind of goofy movie tie-in games. Like,
Yeah, th- you get a lot of crap, but you did occasionally get some ambitious license games.
mm,
Yeah,
man,
this
it's
is him.
goofy as hell
Yeah,
looking.
him and oh yeah, goofy as hell, fighting Jekyll, Mr.
Hyde.
Hyde. Yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
Hyde.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it makes for a good. I mean, it makes for a good action game, especially that movie.
Yeah,
Uh, and he
not
had all
much,
those,
not much
Ba-
plot to it.
yeah, Batman ass weapons that he had. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
And
Man,
his friar friend, who's not technically a monk, so he can curse.
uh, man, this almost makes me want to get a PS2 again. Play Van
Eh,
Helsing, play
emulator,
Blade.
man.
Oh yeah, emulator could do. Yeah, emulator there.
Emulator could probably run it better at 60 frames in ways that it was never intended to.
Damn, that guy don't even look like Hugh Jackman.
I know that licensing they have to do the best they can.
Uh, oh shit! Dodge, boom, cut him, boom. Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oof. My arm.
yeah. So that was the video game awards announcements, trailers, winners, losers, everything like that.
Oh yeah. Before we forget, Final Fantasy 16 got a DLC expansion drop.
Oh, Final Fantasy. Did they show a trailer for that?
No, they just announced it. I don't know if you heard about it, but Final Fantasy 16 got a called Echoes of the Fallen. They dropped the whole new expansion during the ceremony. It shadow dropped.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Well, a second piece of download content, The Rising Tide, comes out next year.
Yeah, this is the Echoes of the Fallen trailer right here. Okay. Are you playing Final Fantasy 16?
No, I'm waiting for all of it to finish, and then I'll once all everything's out, then I'll pick it up.
Okay. Yeah.
But I am interested. It is between it and 15. I'm a little more interested because at least this will finish. Hopefully, 15 labored for years and is still technically unfinished. It has 3 more DLC it'll never get.
Um. How do you before we go at it, what's your
Yeah.
opinion on remakes being nominated for like game of the year?
I don't think they should.
Hmm.
I think that's a deadly sentiment. Gets really it puts it in a very bad position because then all that encourages is that to never make anything new, but make what just worked
Mm.
and but better. And let's cut out stuff that made it unique or cut out unique things and add things that we wanted to add into the original creators did not. I think it's a deadly precedence.
Do you think there's a difference between something like The Last of Us remake and like Final Fantasy 7 of like you're completely just like making a whole new game and like reconstructing?
So that's the difference. I believe a remaster and a remake both should not be viable for a new nomination for a year for different reasons. A remaster is taking mostly the same assets as the previous game and enhancing them and using it's like touching up a painting. A remaster is like touching up a painting and making sure that it looks as good as possible with the original assets. A remake is basically making the same game for the most part, using completely new parts. You're copying the painting, but with new ink, better brushes, new paper, and going, but this is the same image, right? I just did it hopefully betterer. And it doesn't always work out like that, because the point of when the game was made, who was working on it, and how they worked on it, that is the lightning in the bottle for certain games. Like Last of Us Part 2 is getting a remaster. It came out less than 2 years ago, or 2 or 3 years ago. It should not be getting a remaster. Yeah, they're adding more content. That should have just been free DLC for people who bought it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like you said, there's a little bit like a remaster. That's a good kind of comparison there, like touching up and painting and then reconstructing it, like because that's what what Resident Evil 4 did. That's what Final Fantasy 7 did.
Yeah.
I think there's a case for that if like you're taking a game from like PS1, PS2 era, and you're just you got to completely reconstruct. You can't just really add anything. Like The Last of Us, the first game that came out on the PS3, you're kind of basically. I mean, even though they did some other improvements with that,
They did
game,
some touch ups and they added some things and they expanded some levels.
yeah,
But
it's not such an old game that it wasn't so much of a point where it's a complete rework of everything there.
And the first Last of Us got a remaster on the PS4, got it to 60 frames, got a bunch of stuff. That's actually my personal game. If you're gonna play Last of Us Part 1, play it on the PS4. That's the best way really to play it. And then it got a remaster on the PS5, which did that version, but added even more detail, used a lot of the same textures, used a lot of the skeleton of the previous Last of Us game, but used a lot of the textures that they had made from The Last of Us Part 2. So that's why it looks so good, because it was using like an upgraded version of the same engine, but they did it that way. So the gameplay was the same, just a little touch-ups here and there. So it was just a very highly updated version of it, but using mostly the same parts. However, if you did notice the most recent like remastered Part 1, now they're calling it Part 1, that they did for the PS5 and then later ported to PS5 to bad results as one of the worst major releases of a PC game. It lost a lot of the colorization and lighting in the translation. Also, some of the models were, especially with Tessa is concerned, a few other characters were like, "Oh, you just made her like older, or you made other characters and changed them slightly." So things like lighting and color also reflect really importantly on a scene. And so moments like those, you kind of want to keep as best of the color grading, the best as what was the original intention of it. And for reasons like that, that's why I would recommend, if you're going to play a remaster of one of them, play the PS4 version. It basically uses everything the original one had, but enhances it, gets it 60 frames, but keeps all the color grading in the original, but does it in the best way possible. That would be my recommendation if you play it. If you play it on PC or PS5, you'll be fine for the most part, but you will miss out on some of the colorization and some of the grading that the original had.
Yeah. This isn't a remake or rework or anything like that, but this is a sequel, Spider-Man 2. Are you surprised that it walked away with no wins?
Not really, unfortunately. From what I've seen of the story, especially what I've seen it go, God, I can't stand. God, that new face is really bad. I wish they had stayed with the original. He looks too young to be what he is, to be as old as he is, and be in the career that he is. No, I think it was a very safe sequel, if I'm going to be honest. It was a very safe sequel. The chances they took in the first game, whether I like them or not, I can respect it. I was fine with Miles Morales. Miles Morales could not really be in this game for the most part until the last third. Kraven the Hunter also, honestly, is, I'm going to be honest, not that interesting of a main villain. And the symbiote aspect of it, they kind of dropped the ball with the symbiote aspect, if I'm going to be honest. I instead of it making Peter Parker worse, it just makes him act like a 90s grungy dude. And why I like that in a 90s cartoon, he just has Yuri Lowenthal going and saying like, "Oh, I need to deepen my voice," and making him more aggressive instead of starting to change his nature.
Mm.
It felt like three different games kind of fight, three different stories trying to fight for control, and all led up to kind of a boss rush near the end with Miles finally joining into the story because he could not be in the first like 2/3 of the story and not be missed. And then with the spoilers, but with what they've been hinting at with Miles kind of taking over the quote unquote the mantle
Mhm.
and making his own thing. I'm like, I didn't play Spider-Man to play. I play Spider-Man to play Peter Parker as Spider-Man. Miles, that's fine. I played Miles expansion and I was happy with that because that was Miles. Miles should just get his own if they're gonna do that, I don't want him to take over the main trilogy. I want him to be his own thing, do his own thing, have his own villains, not just take Peter's villains. I want him to be his own guy, have his own moniker, do his own thing. And I see some of that, but it's safe and it doesn't quite let him do that. So because of all those elements, because of where the story kind of went, the safe things it does, I mean, it looks still fantastic, and a lot of effort went into it. I'm not surprised that it didn't quite live up. And you're never gonna. The first game was just such a surprise
Mhm.
that you're just not gonna get that magic again for a second. Unfortunately, they really needed to have. There were a lot of people that were excited for the very first one, enjoyed it, and loved it, and then like, oh, for the sequel, it's just I'm gonna get the same thing again, and I'm like, oh, I should be more excited for that than I am, but
Yeah.
also,
I'm
yeah,
I'm
that's my
playing it
feeling.
now, and it's more of the same,
Yeah,
and that's not necessarily bad, but it's
no,
not necessarily, and they've made some improvements, obviously graphically, like,
mhm, mhm.
this game is gorgeous and it really pushes the boundaries of what the PS5 can do, and the seamless transition that you can do where you can hop between Peter and Miles is really amazing.
I mean, it's great.
That's great. I love the addition of the web wings. That makes traversing the city much more, greater experience. So you can switch between swinging and the whole web wings, which is really cool. But as far as like, gameplay wise, and obviously the map is also a lot bigger too. But gameplay wise, it's like, okay, it's more of the same. It's more kind of Spider-Man adventures. And then some things they also took away there from like a lot of the gadget type stuff they
Yeah,
what you could do, which is a shame. But it's like you mentioned, like the first Spider-Man was like, "Hey, we're doing a Marvel Spider-Man game. It's gonna be on PS4," and it was a huge announcement and big surprise. And when the game came out, it was really great. It's just like trying to build upon that and try to outdo yourself with that. And it seems like okay, it's a fine sequel. I don't necessarily think it super surpasses the first game necessarily. I think there's still some really great things about it. And some improvements over the first one, but it's like okay, yeah, it's more of the same, you know, there.
mhm.
It's not, I'm trying to think of, like, a sequel that surpasses, the first movie, the first game. Probably God of War: Ragnarok in some ways. What's
Yeah,
that?
I'd even say God of War 2, the original.
Yeah. Yeah, God of War 2 is the original there, or, like, maybe Devil May Cry 3 or something like that.
Devil May Cry 3, like, brought that franchise back to life after the second game.
Yeah. So yeah, and Devil May Cry 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Devil May Cry 3, so yeah, I mean, which yeah, it's fine. It's a good game. It's a 7, 8 out of 10 game, maybe. I
Yeah,
haven't finished it yet, but
yeah,
yeah.
compared to the first one, which was like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that was the Game Awards, people.